today at a VetArt Pop-Up2Peace Arts Cafe in Santa Cruz. So you're like the production assistant for VetArt.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what you do, what VetArt is, and how you encourage veterans to choose art over other things?
Well, VetArt is a nonprofit, and it's focused on advocating for art as a healing modality for veterans. What was the other question? What I do.
Yeah.
I help out like in the office with administrative work, and I do some of the processing to help people get paid and put in invoices to get this event started. I'm kind of all over the place. Whatever the vets need is what I try to accomplish. And the way I encourage veterans to use art as a healing modality is talking to other veterans. I'm not a veteran myself, so it's not really my expertise. I love art and I love music, but I don't have that same experience that is going to help a vet see why it's so helpful and why other people use it. But yeah, I like to learn from veterans, and I encourage other veterans to learn from them too.
Well, thank you for telling us your story, and thank you so much for being with VetArt.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you do for us.
Thank you.
Perry, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Greetings, I'm Perry Spencer. I'm the founding director of Up2Peace, and I'm here in Santa Cruz with VetArt doing VetArt's Pop-Up2Peace Arts Cafe in Santa Cruz.
Now, Perry, you're a veteran yourself, right?
I am a veteran, yes.
Can you tell us what you did in the military and which branch you served in?
And I was stateside in Kansas, Leavenworth, Kansas.
Oh, yeah, okay. Very interesting. What did you do in the military?
I was an MP and then finally ended up on special investigations in the Leavenworth prison.
Oh, well, I'm sure you have some stories to tell, right?
Yes, I got some stories.
I
Not so
bet
much
you
about
do.
the prison, but yeah.
Well,
That's where I found the book by Ram Dass, Be Here Now, and that changed my life. And when I got out, I ended up not choosing it, but it chose me, the Vets Hall, to teach yoga for 25 years. So.
Well, let's talk about your nonprofit.
Okay. Up2Peace came forth. It was inspired, called forth out of me, so to speak, with a prayer that I wrote for a Marine that was being protested in Berkeley. And I called him and I talked to him a while. And his brother was stationed in Kansas and Leavenworth, where I was. So anyway, it was a nice connection. And I wrote this prayer, and it's, as our love for you, we offer our lives to fight, so all will know the might, to share the right, to live, to be peaceful. And that was cosmically the way that Up2Peace came into the beginning, conception of. And it's been 14 years, a few years of growth and transformation and healing, and we're just looking to continue with our work and to cultivate actions of peace through youth, veterans, utilizing music and art to cultivate actions of peace.
So what does it mean to you to have VetArt here today displaying the work of local artists?
It means a lot to have local artists and other artists from California here today to show our community support for artists and veterans, and to bring forth healing. And one thing I've realized within helping organize this event was that we're all veterans of war, some just closer to the action. So I feel as we cultivate healing for the veterans, it's for everyone. We're all veterans and we're all affected by war and the confusion of the world that is perpetuated by wars from endless times, and which is no one's fault. No one alive started wars, and but those of us who are alive, I really aspire that we will bring a closure to that, and peace can reign.
Aho. Ja, het is Ivan Sam's, ja. ki ani slon twohi klini buses chin kabahan dasache do my deskizi dasanala with the nensle. Hello, my name is Ivan Sam. I am the cultural ambassador with VetArt. Would like to welcome you all to the Veterans Art Project's Pop-Up2Peace Creative Arts Cafe. Right now, I would like to start with the call to acknowledge First Nations of this land, the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Pop-Up2Peace tribe, the Ohlone tribe, and the Awaswas tribal nations. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather today is their traditional territory, and it is also important to acknowledge that this land remains the shared space amongst them. I would also like to acknowledge that there are many tribes around California as well. A virtual tribal land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this virtual gathering with other tribes around this whole state of California is taking place throughout unceded territories of California, home to nearly 200 tribal nations as well. A land acknowledgement is a critical step towards working with Native communities to secure meaningful partnership and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and homelands. Today, I would like for you guys to join me by learning more about the local indigenous tribes in your community and getting to know the land they once occupied. Responsibility and taking action in acknowledging First Nations and their land. The acknowledgement of indigenous lands ultimately provides exposure and a learning opportunity for individuals who may have never heard the names of the tribes that have and continue to live and learn from the land they are standing on. It is also worth noting that acknowledging the land is indigenous and tribal protocol, and the practice establishes a respectful routine and habit of supporting reconciliation. Building relationships. Land acknowledgement by itself is a small gesture. It becomes meaningful when coupled with authentic relationship building, community participation, and informed intentional action. Building relationships is also a very important aspect of standing in solidarity. A great place to start is going to tribal gatherings, powwows, tribal museums, or yearly events like California Indian Day celebrations. Reciprocity. Learn about oppression and privilege. Learn about the history of colonization. Learn about California Indian people and their cultures. Learn about the land you live on. There are many books, blogs, documentaries, tribal nation websites, plays, songs that California Indian people have written and performed, and also different museums and tribal centers that provide opportunity for learning. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we would like to welcome you all, and we look forward to seeing you throughout this event. And I'm going to share some songs with the 4 directions. Thank you.
Yo,
yo we go we yana hey yo we yana hey ne yo hey ne yana hey ne ne yana hey ne ne yana hey ne ne yana hey ne ne yana hey yo do we yana hey ne yana hey ne ne yana hey ne ne yana hey yo do we yana hey ne yo yana hey yo do yana hey ne ne yana hey ne ne yana hey ne ne yana hey yo do yana hey ne yana hey ne ne yana hey ne ne yana hey yo do yana hey ne yo hey ne hey ne ah hey na ah hey na ah hey na yana na yo ne yana hey ne yo ah hey na ah hey na ah hey na yana na yo ne yana hey ne ah hey na yana na yo ne yana hey ne ah hey na yana na yo ne yana hey ne yo yana na yo ne hey ne yana na yo ne hey ne yana na yo ne hey ne ah hey na yana na yo ne yana hey ne yo hey ne many we chone ya no hana we ya na yo ne yana hey ne 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 many we chone ya no hana we ya na yo ne yana hey ne yo we ya na yo ne yana hey ne many we chone ya no hana we ya na yo ne yana hey ne yo many we chone ya no hana we ya na yo ne yana hey ne 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 many we chone ya no hana we ya na yo ne yana hey ne yo aho thank you.
Today we're at the VetArt Pop-Up2Peace Arts Cafe in Santa Cruz. I'd like to introduce everyone to Reggie. Reggie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your military experience, what you did in the military?
Yeah, I'm Reginald Green from Dallas, Texas. I served in the Navy for 15 years. I did 15 years in the Navy, and now I'm an artist.
Well, I know your story, so I think it's really important for people to know how you discovered that you had artistic talent, because we were all locked down during the COVID pandemic. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Okay, well, I first started getting back into arts through a recreational therapy program at the VA. I was suffering from anxiety and depression, and I had chronic migraines, headaches, and suffering from depression. I went into the recreational therapy program, and they introduced me to arts, and I saw a program called VetArt.org that was doing bronze casting. So I went to the studio to the foundry to see what they were about. I volunteered for a year and a half, and they ended up hiring me. So I was doing bronze work at the VA, getting more veterans involved because it helped me with my depression. So I wanted to get other veterans involved and give them a creative outlet to keep them out of depression as well, or from turning to negative stuff like drugs and alcohol. So I felt like this was a great program to be a part of.
How has it helped you to deal with those issues, creating your art? And your art is absolutely stunning.
Thank you. Well, it helped me because it gave me a creative outlet. It gave me something to do. I was in depression and I was in isolation during COVID. Our Steve Dilly, the director of VetArt, he offered some free clay at the studio. So I went to the studio, started sculpting because I was in isolation, and then it branched off through there. Next thing you know, I had a piece of art on the front page of a newspaper, which I'll show you real quick. So when I saw
outstanding.
when I saw that, I was like, I guess I'm an artist now. So since then, I've just been creating whatever came to mind.
And you really have some stunning pieces here. So Reggie, can you tell us about some of the pieces that we're seeing right here?
Well, these are my pendants. I started off making a couple of pendants that I wore around town for myself, and people kept stopping me, asking me, do I sell them and everything. So I wasn't selling them at the time, but since people kept asking me, I decided to make other and more for other people. So most of my work is from ancient civilization type stuff because I'm into the Egyptian, Mayans, and different civilizations. So I try to create stuff like that and try to bling them out because I like jewelry and I like the bling. So I wear a piece, I change them out each day. I'm on a Native American series right now, so that's what I'm wearing right now, and I have one right here. They both have different little feathers. And the unique things about my pieces is they're all original. There's only one of a kind. So anyone that purchased something from me, it's just one of a kind, and they have their own individual special piece. Got some bigger pieces of my art back here. If you want to check this out. Some of my pieces are from historical people. Like this is the Black Caesar. He was a slave that took over a pirate ship and raided the Caribbean area for many years. And then I got an African mouse I put on a t-shirt, my first t-shirt that I produced. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I have Shaka Zulu right here. He's missing his hat right now because I forgot to bring it. And then got a Mayan. And then we have some other of my pieces that I put on a canvas just to show to the people. And then we have Jean-Jacques Dessalines. He liberated Haiti from the French.
And talk about this stunning piece right here.
So this is one of my Egyptian jars, you know, you can see in there, but it's hollowed out. So I'm doing a series of jars that people can put stuff in, and once I figured out I could make jars, I just continued on with it.
And how about this piece right here?
And that's my Egyptian princess. And I also do aliens.
Oh, I hadn't seen the alien before.
I actually working on some alien spaceships and different things. And I made a Viking lamp. So I'm taking care of all cultures. I'm not limiting myself to just doing one culture, trying to take care of everyone. So spreading love to everyone. That's why I got this love shirt on. So.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for the interview. I appreciate your art, and we love what you do.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm here in Santa Cruz with VetArt, and we have a local artist. She's going to tell us her name, what branch she was in, and some about her artwork and how it's healing, and what's up.
My name's Anelle. Hello. I am a Navy veteran. My artwork here recently got into acrylic paint. This was during the summer, so it's coming out pretty well for what I imagine my skill set would be. So I'm really excited today to get to display it. This one's my favorite piece of all time right now. This is part of a scene from the movie Blade Runner, and I thought the artificial intelligence girlfriend was just so pretty, so I had to paint her. And I added a little bit more design in the back. But I love drawing women and feminine. I like soft and girly, sometimes loud and neon, but they're never gonna be an actual person. They're more just like maybe characters, I would say. There's really no hidden meaning to my art. I just like the visuals and frame them and make them pretty, and that's what I do. I just like pretty stuff.
Right on, very cool. Some of it kind of looks like you.
Thanks. I've had a few people tell me that, but none of these are for me. I don't inspire myself. I need others or on Pinterest, or sometimes I'll ask friends like on Instagram if I can draw them, or I'll just leave a message on my comments and say drop a picture or send me a link, and I might just draw it. So I just kind of get sporadic like that, but it's always probably going to be a girl.
Right on. Well, thank you for your time. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're having a blast.
I love it. It's my first time here, so I'm so excited to be here.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
William Muir, can you tell us about yourself, what you did in the military? And you have really beautiful art here, and we're going to talk about all of that. So
okay,
just
thank you.
Introduce yourself.
I'm William Muir. Shar is my middle name, and 62 this year. I did join the Army in 1979 after being an Air Force brat for most of my life. I signed up when I was at 17. I was signed up for the Army in Sacramento, and then I went in Alabama at the AFE station there in Mobile. That's how sporadic my life was. And the Army couldn't slow me down. 7 months later, I said, let me out, and they said no. I said, yes, louder. So I had a 7-month tour, which was very healthy. Basic was pretty amazing. It was 6 weeks. So it was the fastest basic ever. At that point, I think we were the first ones to go through in 6 weeks. But I pulled 3 out of 4 commendations and went through as a super trooper, and I kind of loved it, but permanent party didn't really change, and I got out of there. So I've been free ever since. And but still, I've been a commander of the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans, for the past 3 years. They voted me in. So the Vietnam vets find me decent military property.
Okay, well,
So,
very good.
Yeah.
So what got you into art? What was it that...
Childhood. I started art as a child in 5th, 6th grade even, with the pastels, copying master's work, smearing pastels. And it was beautiful and easy to do and fun, doing Renoir and Matisse. And then I just kept drawing, and then I started carrying paints with me. I would be going from California to Florida and Florida to California. And I moved 32 times in 28 years. Yeah, so I grew up in Sacramento. My dad ended up in Florida, and then I had dual citizenship, driver's license in both places the whole bit. I was there. And art has always helped me, I guess, with my center. It's been a mainstay to want to become better, to want to push myself. I've been a bit of a daredevil with my mountain bike racing and this and that, and to build skill and to learn patience and to create what I want took a whole lot of putting myself through suffering and grief and pain, whether it's just pedaling uphill for hours or flying over the bars into trees upside down. It's all a learning lesson. And alcohol, I was an alcoholic from 5th grade until I was 28 years old, and back-to-back DUIs curved that pretty quick in Reno. Before there was trouble, before there was a hassle, They held me for 52 days in a holding cell. I could have sued them for my Miranda rights and didn't even know it. I sat in a holding cell for 52 days. I was obliging.
But once you
Once I got out, I was never drunk again. I could drink and not be drunk. A personal choice. If you don't moderate your habits, you're doomed. Whether it's spending, whether it's drinking, whether it's doing drugs, whether it's shopping kills people. I mean, and drugs do it fast. And parents who hurt their children or hurt their family units because they're afraid of drugs and what their children might get into aren't giving them a chance to mature.
So talk about how you healed yourself through art and how it's helped your mental health.
Okay. As the art has been my center and one of my centers, art and fitness is definitely my centers. I got educated. I went to school when I was 28 years old. I had a son. My wife had a son. Well, my wife at the time had a son, and he was born, and I needed to get together. So I went to school, and after going to a different school every year of my life, going to Cabrillo for 10 years in a row was maturation. It allowed me to see things and think of things much more maturely. To stop and just to be able to listen and to learn. It was crazy. You can learn to drink in one day. So moderating habits for me has been my goal. Learning balance and getting into school and having that behind me allowed me to see things probably more clearly or less, just being honest with myself is the biggest ticket, and loving family. You can lie all you want. Anybody can lie about anything, but it's all about honesty. And I've always been lucky enough to say no at the right time when I've stepped in too far. And I don't tempt fate anymore with drugs and alcohol. It's just stupid. Intelligently spill paint, pour paint, climb mountains, do whatever you want to be an artist. Sing, dance, flip, but moderate your habits and be strong and be faithful and enjoy family and friends. I kept painting and wanted to paint and started college finally at 28 years old after Shar was born, my son, and almost got my teaching credentials, and I said I was going to be an artist, and then I got to go into the art program. So I'm really stoked. Cabrillo for 10 years. And I ended up with a Bachelor of Fine Arts from San Jose State University. And after all that speed painting, as far as knocking them out and painting fast and having to put, just not being able to slow down and paint, it was really nice to get my degree and 4 or 5 years later realize to slow down, to learn how to slow down and actually paint the paintings and not try and knock them out. It's been a lot of development. I've always been into art and working with a palette knife now, and I still work like a graphic artist though, because I'm still work myself in the corners. I don't have a big space to paint. I always end up really close to everything. There's a few artists that have been like that.
So what do you think creating art has done for you personally?
It's allowed me to be me. It's given me a place to where I was, when I said no, it was the right time, and it hasn't, I wouldn't say it's given me an income, but it's given me my life. It's given me who I am. It's given me a lot of good things. It's given me my freedom to express, and it's given me friendships. It's given me lots of things, and it's slowly given me talent. And I'm into art and fitness, so because of the fitness side of it, it's a really nice commensurate business, because I really want to be strong and stuff, and healthy, heart-wise and lung-wise. And so pushing both, it's not easy to be an artist. It's a blank canvas, and you're trying to do things people have never done, and everyone's like the start of a race. It's like it's all brand new, and it's a challenge. And I know I enjoy challenges. So,
Well, how would you recommend it, since you are a previous commander of your local Disabled American Veterans chapter, how would you recommend to other veterans that they should consider trying art as opposed to drinking, drugging, depression, and isolation?
isolation and drinking and drugging should all be done in moderation. It's not a dream to be a drug addict or an alcoholic. That's the bottom line. If you have a dream, follow that. And anything you do that has a healthy effect, be it art, be it fitness, be it singing, be it poetry. Spilt paint has made people more money than hours and hours of painting. Put it that way. Art can be pretty ugly and still be considered divine. So you don't have to be talented to start. You don't need to be anything but wanting to do something. So fear is hard. Fear is tricky. But being afraid of art, I never had to be afraid of art. I don't know what I've been afraid of in life. I've been lucky that way. I was an alcoholic. I drank from 5th grade until I was 28 years old. And I was blind drunk for a while in there. I grew up in Florida half my life. And I've been smoking pot since I was 13 years old. And I moderate it. Pot's never caused me damage. I believe in the family unit. I believe that no one should be tossed out for personal choice, and that we should mature with our decisions, and the more parents can help their kids, the better. Because parents disowning their children for their choices or just giving up, they're quitting. And quitters don't help. So as a parent, I never quit. My son's treating me genuinely beautifully. I'm blessed. I gave him so much time, and it's just wonderful the way he treats me.
I'm here in Santa Cruz, and he's going to mention his name, what branch he is, and tell a little bit about his work.
Yes, my name is Perry Spencer. I was in the Army, Vietnam era. Luckily went to Kansas, where I found Ram Dass, and be here now, and started teaching yoga at the Vets Hall for 25 years. So
that's very cool. Tell us a little bit about your work here.
Well, my work here is, as I say, I'm a word person. And this one here, I did the whole thing. I had the words, and then the art came later. And as I finished this art, I walked over to get a drink of water, and I realized, oh, this is Sticks and Stones. So, yeah, it was really the first piece that I did all on my own. You know?
Very cool.
Yeah. And it's true. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Harsh words, they wound the soul. Thoughts, words, and deeds of loving kindness is that which makes us whole.
Right on. Thank you for sharing.
Hi, Travis.
Hey.
Can you tell us who you are and which branch of the military you were in and what you did when you were in the...
Yeah, my name is Travis DeYoung. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served 2007 to 2011 as an aviation supply specialist. Deployed to Iraq in 2009 for 11 months. Yeah, that's a little bit about me and my service.
So what'd you do when you got out of the Marine Corps?
When I first got out, I went on a road trip. I got out, I was in North Carolina, did a road trip out to California, where I eventually came to Santa Cruz and sort of fell in love with this area. And then moved out a year later and started school out this way. I went to Cabrillo College, the local college here. Got my associates, and then I started looking for work, and I found a job as the Veterans Benefit Outreach Representative for the office, the Veteran Services Office, downtown Santa Cruz. So I did that for about a year and a half, and then moved into a full-time position as the veteran advocate. And then I went back to school, got my degree in psychology, and now I'm doing a master's of social work program and still working as a veteran advocate for the county.
So what compelled you into creating your beautiful art?
I feel like I draw inspiration from a lot of different things. I like doing a lot of different kinds of art. So like these are, painted. This is, hand-drawn, sort of on a background of painting. And then down here is ceramic, some ceramic drums. I was taught how to make this from a Vietnam veteran, Michael Montfort, who I was really connected with. And then like this is made from, they call it EVA foam, but basically like making the armor, heat shaping it, using a Dremel to carve out the details. So there's a lot of different types of art that I like to do that feel important for my self-expression, and so I feel like I've been engaged with the art to some degree since I was a child, and I think kind of got put on hold while I was in the Marine Corps. But then really after that, I really felt connected to the process and being able to really put myself into something. And it was very helpful with like self-expression, which I feel like I was sort of struggling with after, and reconnecting with my emotions, which was really important for me. So yeah, it's been sort of a healing modality and self-expression, and just, sort of integrated into like my wellness practice.
Well, that's great because, we're here at VetArt today, and VetArt is sponsored by the Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission. So as a veteran who works with other veterans, how would you encourage them to consider art as a healing modality as opposed to drinking, drugging, isolation, and depression?
I think there's so much benefit to the artistic process itself in the way that it's meditative and helps to regulate your nervous system. There's also an amazing community. I've met so many really people in my life who are very special to me and I feel very connected to, including mentors who are older veterans who really had that connection with, and younger veterans who are my peers who have been through a lot of similar experiences and are using art as its healing modality and self-expression. So I think both the community aspect and the process of it is so valuable, and just it creates avenues of connection. People like to talk to you about your art. They like to know the stories behind it. It's an opportunity to share some of yourself, not in the art itself, but also being able to talk to people about it. So I really love that. I love the community, and I guess that's what I'd say.
Well, this a Rudy B, where the people them defend. From now till the morning, vibes never end. Select a 7 sound, represent once again. Select a 7, make you dance. 7 make you smile, them up play the body stuff. And them was a little shot from my money and the way I set the pattern and the style. Super cut of lyrics.
Tell them come back up pyramid.
Big up all the 7 make you smile, them up play the body stuff. And them was a little shot from my money and the way I set the pattern and the style.
Tell them come back up pyramid.
Big up all the sound and I've been doing it for a while. But select a 7 sound leading by your mind. They take the music around the world and make the sacrifice to put your makeup on the top. Now when them touch the style, them say hey, select a 7, play that one again. Well, it's a reggae music where the people them defend. From now till the morning, the plate a send. Select a 7, lock it down once again. Hey, Rudy B, play that one again. The people them defend. From now till the morning, we could never pretend. Lord, oh Lord.
Okay, talk to my heart.
She
she was in the 80s. It was in Kessel, Germany. I was doing a drum circle there. I do one every year in Kessel, Germany. And we were in a circus tent because the circus was closed on Monday. And it was in the park. And she said she felt the drum circle before she opened up her window and listened to the sound. She went to the drum circle. Okay, and like all good Germans, the minute she got to the top of the steps of this circus tent, somebody shoved a drum in her hand and pushed her in. That's the way the Germans do it. Welcome, here, go! Okay, and she didn't know what was on. I saw her, the steps were raised like the perfect drum circle. Wooden steps, people sat on it in 3 rows, and I was the center ring. And there was only one seat available out of the 300 people that were there, and it was the seat I was using. I invited her down, sat her down, showed her how to hit the drum, and then we were in the middle of the drum circle, so I just kept on going. Within 10 minutes, I saw her eyes were washing away her mascara. She was all dressed in black, and it just kind of like matched and ran down on her clothes, and it disappeared. And I'm from California, so I went, do you need a hug? She goes, go away, I'm German. And kept on smiling and drumming away. Okay? Now, at the end of these things, I'm almost at the end of the story. At the end of these things, I'm outside the tent, and I'm going, thank you for coming to Rhythm Church. I hope you enjoyed the sermon. And there are people waiting for me to sign books or things like that. And she's off in the distance in the park holding the hand of a young man. I said, I'm going to get a story from that woman, and that young man's going to be a translator. So she's old enough to be the people whom my father conquered. And so they don't speak English. They deliberately don't speak English. They call us Amerikansas, which is like an N-word, okay? And she came up. She waited till everybody's gone. She came up and translated through the young college guy who had to slow her down because she just started spurting, okay? Here's the story. Childhood sweetheart. Before World War II, they got married. He went off to the Eastern Front and died. She became a widow at the age of 20-something, okay? And she was a widow all her life till her age, which was 80 while she was talking to me, okay? She couldn't let go of him. Everything was black. She came down the drum circle, got pushed in with a drum, sat down, and had her own private ceremony. The vibration of that circle went to the place that needed it the most, which was the place that wouldn't let go of her boyfriend, lover, okay, for 60 years. And she just drummed him away and said goodbye. It's okay, it's Santa Cruz. I mean, your high drummers, rumble, ready, high drummers, 5 minutes. Okay, wait a minute, hold it. Okay, let me track it again, one more time. Low drummers. Stop, watch my hands. Low drummers. Watch my hands. Medium drummers. Stop, high drummers. Yeah, now you got it. Medium drummers. High drummers. Low drummers. Okay. Hi, my name is Dr. Holmes. I am a sneaky vegetable. Okay? And in my sneaky vegetable personality, persona, I'm going to help you listen to a dialogue with the other drummers in this circle. And I'm going to do it in a nice, friendly, family-friendly, sneaky way. That's why I am a sneaky vegetable. Okay. Ready? Careful, I'm playing a trick on you. Okay. Ready? Rumble. You got it. Can you hear the pitches?